All right. What we're talking about today is spiritual combat, sustain campaign. What we're going to be going through is literally how to wage spiritual combat and why, you know, you if you're stuck or stagnated in your growth or your development, why that's the case. Okay? And you know, one of the points we're going to be really digging into is that term sustain campaign. We're going to define what a sustained campaign is in military lingo, or what the word might call enduring substance. Okay, um, a sustained campaign is a long term, continuous, and coordinated series of activities designed to achieve a specific, significant goal. Okay? So that's the definition of a sustained campaign. Okay? Um, Probably got to go in a little later in the show. As we go through the show, we might go revisit that and actually define those words and get granular with it. And the reason why is because I see so many people, um, because of the noise in life, they lose the tune of the signal of what they really need to be locked into because of all the noise that life can bring. One of the things they call this thing, or they talk about that you could look up, is the attention economy. The attention economy, and that phrase came into being, I guess, back in 2008 or 2010, something like that, when social media really started picking up, and attention actually became a higher price, more sought after commodity than even oil. Okay. Um, so attention is the new hot commodity out there. Just so you know, if you hadn't known, and this has been for the last couple of years, or I don't know how long. Um, but yeah, it's been your attention, and it's crazy, and you can see the effects of it on people. And in this, uh, in the day and in the age that we live in now, everything's vying for your attention. And the reason you know Satan's behind it is because the word in the word it tells us to meditate on his word day and night. It talks about telling us to have that enduring substance. Um, and what I've seen is just a lot of people spiritually stagnant, spiritually defeated because they're out there uh, getting owned in this attention economy. Is getting the best of them. You couple that with the Greco-Roman Catholic concept of religion, or its approach, or the idea people have in their mind about what serving the Most High is and being obedient to this word, that they have a Greco-Romanized Catholic concept of serving the Most High instead of um, a more biblical combat mindset of serving the Most High. Okay, and that, like, again, y'all know, um, when you read through this word, you know, you can go through all the verses and look, and they all tie in to a uh, serving the Most High um, in a military almost sense. Okay, uh, and the almost all the stuff that gets pushed on people that has kind of come from uh, the Greco-Roman Catholic I- ideology or whatever of serving um, the Most High. Almost everything pushed on it is like counter to that. It's a lot of feel good stuff, stuff tied to thoughts, feelings, emotions, everything like that. You know what I'm saying? Um, so let's read. We're gonna hit this sustained campaign again, okay? And we're gonna begin to break this thing down. Um, a long-term, continuous, and coordinated. So the first thing it says a sustained campaign is a long-term, continuous. So a lot of people, their approach to spiritual growth and development and stuff like that is their approach is a very um, just, hey, boom, I'm gonna do this and then I'm gonna continue on. You know, it's just a hit and run type deal, and you, you're not eradicating the enemy within. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's you overcoming strongholds and deeply rooted um, behaviors that are contrary to this word, mindsets, overcoming certain spirits. It's a long term, sustained campaign. Um, when it comes to getting the deliverance, when it comes to prayer, when it comes to the fasting, when it comes to, here go the most important part, the walk afterwards. When you have eradicated the enemy within, whatever that might be, okay? The walk afterwards. Are you going to walk it out in spirit and in truth? Are you going to walk that thing out? Are you going to. I got a good one. Here's a good one. When it comes to a lot of people might struggle with lust and pornography addiction and stuff like that, and you get delivered from it, you get that spirit cast off you. What are you going to do when it comes to social media and being on the internet? Like, are you still going to be on Instagram? I know a lot of y'all are not, most people aren't going to have that discipline to reprogram the algorithms in these social media platforms. So are you going to go back on there and get led right back into this stuff? Because they'll throw stuff in there that grabs your attention. You know what I'm saying? What are you going to do? Um, these are the questions that need to be asked. These are the things that go into a sustained campaign. It doesn't even have to be. Uh, I'm hitting on social media and pornography addiction. It could be anything. Are you certain things, certain people, places, things, and mindsets need to be eliminated out of your life to keep you locked in so you can wage a sustained campaign, okay? And be locked in, okay? And again, if you're just tuning in, we going through how to wage spiritual combat. So you're not just going through the motions and operating in a religious spirit, trying to look the part, trying to put on a facade that you're righteous and that you've been delivered or you've trained, but actually hitting this thing head on. Like this image of these soldiers behind me. You can see they're focused, they're locked in, they're engaging the enemy, They're not worrying about what's behind them. They're facing the enemy and they're engaging them. Okay? Um, and this is how we need to be spiritually. A lot of people, it's amazing. Like, you go online, you look at a lot of these so-called Hebrew Israelite groups out here, and it's like, bro, how are you putting out video after video about, like, um, the true location of Jerusalem or Israel and all this, or the history of slavery? Like, for years, you're putting out videos on this, and that's where your research is at, your biblical research. You're studying all this, but you know the word, the essence of that word is telling you to get your mind right and work your salvation out with fear and trembling. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying that to say, hey, you could be in this word, you could be studying this word, you could be listening to messages, you could be doing this, that, and the other, but if you're not waging a sustained campaign, you just wasting time. You the enemy is that way, like where these soldiers is looking, and you facing this way, and you getting shot up from behind. And this is why you see a lot of people who claim to be saints just watching the enemy run a monkey fool on them because they not waging a sustained campaign. Now, let's continue reading this definition. It says a long-term continuous, right? So we're waging a long-term continuous spiritual war, but listen, and coordinated. So it's coordinated. You're working together. It's working, you know, you using the tools that the Most High provides you, the resources. Resource is a better word. That the Most High provides you. He gives you His Holy Spirit. Again, I watch a lot of people going to war. They're not listening to the Holy Spirit. So who are they attacking? Instead of attacking the enemy that's that way, they're facing this way. Who they attacking? They're attacking their brothers, their sisters, the people that's they're supposed to be coordinating with to attack the enemy. So you have the Holy Spirit sitting there. That's like almost like the satellite, the intel telling you, hey, that's where the enemy's at, convicting you. You have your brothers and sisters. They'll be rebuking you or admonishing you. You're fighting against that. In the meantime, the enemy's running a monkey fool. So, and so it says coordinated series of activities designed to achieve a what? A specific, significant goal. Okay? So specific. Again, I watch a lot of people. It's like they just, like I told you about out there in the Hebrew Israelite community, man, they just studying Bible history or, breakdowns of certain things, which is good. I do that too, just to get a biblical understanding of what's going on. But the end goal, the essence is to work your salvation out, to get your mind in alignment with this word. Satan is moving as a roaring lion. He's seeking to devour you. And he's seeking to do it through what? Your thoughts, through your mind, through your heart, through your mindset, what you're thinking, what goes on in your head, which comes out in how you're doing stuff. We're just breaking this thing down very simple. We're taking all the religiosity out of it and just talking straight book, straight what you need to be getting after. You know what I mean? So there's no ambiguity, there's no vagueness, there's no nothing. It's just, hey, got to be getting after this. Um, Well, how do I know what to wage a sustained campaign against? Somebody might ask that. Um, the check engine light in life is what's bothering you, what issues are going on. And if you sit there and act confused about that, like you don't know what that, how to figure that out, man, it's, you can feel it when your emotions get to rolling. It's blatantly obvious. The whole purpose of those emotions are to get what? Your attention. Okay? So, yeah. Um, so check this out. Uh, so, we're going to read it again, and I'm going to read this additional part because this is probably one of the keys, that people are missing, even though it's right there in the name. So, sustained campaign is a long term, continuous, and coordinated series of activities designed to achieve a specific result. Okay? By, and they're going to achieve this result by maintaining consistent pressure, messaging, and momentum over time rather than relying on one-off events. And see, this is a lot of people, man. They don't realize how pervasive this Greco-Roman beast culture is into their lives. They'll, okay, I'm gonna get some deliverance. Okay. And then what do? They go right back to the routines they're in. Doom surfing on social media, playing video games, watching movies, watching sports, doing whatever their regular life routine is, that gives them their dopamine hit. And that ain't it. We're talking about living after this book. Like, when you're driving, what are you listening to? When you're out driving, um, are you listening to the word? Are you listening to something that ties into the campaign that you're engaging in? Or are you just operating like the heathen out here, like the Romans? You go back to your Roman culture. Are you living your Roman culture? Because a lot of people, they live like Rome up until uh, what time is it? 10 o'clock on Saturday to about 4 o'clock on Saturday. They're Hebrews then, and then when they, after that time period, they right back to being Romans. Okay, so you got to ask, how are you living? How are you operating? Or are you living according to this biblical culture? Okay, so when you're out driving, what are you listening to? Um, when you wake up in the morning, what are you doing? Typically, me, when I first wake up in the morning, I'm organizing what I'm gonna be studying throughout the day. I'm putting a list together. A lot of times on the Shabbat, I'm organizing all types of stuff I'm gonna be studying to work on myself, setting it up. Um, when, like, a lot of times when I'm out doing a task, working on cars, doing something, and I'm off by myself, boom, I'm locked in. I'm listening to the word or listening to something spiritually to feed me on this sustained campaign that I'm on in this particular area. Okay? Come home, you know, begin to wind down. You see what I'm saying? What are you looking at? What are you watching? What are you filling yourself with? See, this isn't just kind of, hey, okay, I sit down and whatever's on here, I'm scrolling through it, or whatever's on there, I'm watching it. Nah, this is in purpose, on purpose. This is thought out consciously, not mindlessly, thought out and strategically done. You see what I'm saying? So I'm asking, is this how you're operating? Is this how you're moving in your spiritual development? Is this how you're moving in all aspects of your life with the overarching umbrella of going according the way that the Most High would have you? This is what we have to ask, man. And I'm telling you, it starts with your spiritual mindset. And I could tell y'all, man, this dead season here in particular, man, a lot of stuff in me is coming to the surface in me where I'm developing a lot of wisdom in areas I want to develop wisdom in. I'm working through it, but it's coming painfully. It is. But hey, no pain, no gain. And the thing is, once you get a righteous relationship with pain, once you get into a righteous relationship with it, it doesn't have that fear associated with it. Let me see, how can I put that? Yeah, you can. Here's a better way to explain it. You can get in a relationship with pain where, yeah, it doesn't have that level. I don't know what the word would be, how to explain it, but it doesn't have such a bite to it. You become comfortable with it, and it doesn't have that fearful discomfort, sharp cut that comes with it. Okay, whether it's being humiliated, whatever it might be, coming out of your comfort zone and going into uncomfortable territory. And then another thing, you develop an amount like when you purposely and with awareness face your dark areas, the areas you need to grow and develop in, you begin to develop a balance of how much of it to take on at a time, so you're not overwhelmed. Maybe that's the word I was looking for. So you're not overwhelmed. You be like, okay, I'm gonna just bite off this chunk, and you get systematic with it. You get specific with it. You get and you pay. You're paying attention to what you're working through. You're not just kind of subconsciously like avoiding it or anything like that. You're facing it head on, and you're thinking through this, and doing it in accordance with the word. Like it says, bringing these thoughts into the obedience of Christ, casting the ones down that exalt themselves against it, So over a sustained period of time. And then here goes the other thing. I alluded to it a little bit earlier. I talked about it. Is when you're working through whatever your stronghold difficulty is, or you might hear this video here and you're like, oh yeah, I play video games. I watch a bunch of movies or TV series. I binge watch them. What else? Doom scroll on social media on dumb shit that's pointless. I'm doing these things, and a lot of people they get emotional, which nothing wrong with that, but as long as you understand what the use of those emotions are, but they get emotional like, oh, I'm gonna do what Michael Israel said, whoo, and they just full of emotion, they switch totally over to doing stuff the way I'm talking about, where they're setting their day up, their algorithms up, and everything they do to be centered around whatever their sustained campaign is. Well, that's not how you do that, because that can, what's going to happen, you're only going to be able to sustain that campaign as long as you could, those emotions sustain themselves. Soon as them emotions die off, your campaign's going to die off. And what you need to do, is you need to use those emotions to set up a campaign that is sustainable. Okay? That's what you need to use your emotions for. So you need to set up routines and habits and stuff in your life that are aligned to wherever area you need to grow at in this word, whatever the Most High, whatever the Holy Spirit is showing you, you need to grow and develop at. You need to set up some type of routine, where it's doable even on your worst day. And I got that from some video I saw about weightlifting, you know. But you need to set up something that you could do even on your worst day, so you could do it without motivation, and then eventually it'll become a habit. You'll get in the routine of doing it. You know what I'm saying? And you can function in that. You got to go in little by little, okay? So let's talk about one of the things I talked about earlier is that backs up everything I'm sitting here talking about. We're going to book it now. It's Sirach chapter 2 verse 2. It says, set thy heart aright and constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. We read that all the time. Let's see. This word tells you, this Sirach chapter 4 verse 28, strive for the truth unto death, and the Lord shall fight for thee. You see what I'm saying? And I know people are going to be saying this, so it's good that I cover this now too. The if you read, and again, the perfect chapter to read about this and to see how the Most High works with you in this coordinate, how he coordinates with you in this campaign, is he wants to see you put forth some effort. When he sees you put forth effort, when he sees you with faith, when he sees you taking action, shaking and moving, then he comes in and he'll do the rest. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of people just be waiting for the Most High to do everything while they sit in their comfort zone. This is why a lot of people, they just go get deliverance, and then 3, 4, 5 months later, they're getting deliverance for the exact same stuff again. Why? Because they don't really want to get rid of it. You know, if you're a person, you really wanting to get something off you, some of this sin or something you're wrestling with, almost like a tarantula is on your back, you want it off that bad. Everything I'm saying here is just confirmation, and it is some pointers in it. If you somebody where, look, your God is your flesh, and you serve your flesh with plenty of dopamine stimulators like social media, binge watching movies and TV series, and you name it, with food, with comfort, with no discipline, avoiding discipline. You know what I'm saying? If you're a person like that, yeah, this thing here ain't gonna hit right for you. You're gonna be avoiding this. You're gonna be avoiding me when you see me, and you should. But yeah, man, that's that's what it's about. That's how you got to move on this thing, y'all. Um, and the community environment, the home assembly environment, is the perfect environment. It's a perfect atmosphere for spiritual growth and development. It's a perfect atmosphere to implement this in, if you want. And I've realized in the last I've realized recently that's some of the new wisdom I've gotten. That's why my hair is damn near all gray now. But I realized, man, a lot of people do not want to grow. They don't want spiritual growth and development. A lot of people do not want to serve the Most High. They don't. They have no zeal, no desire to. They want to serve their. They want to serve their flesh. They want to serve their ego. They want to serve the God of comfort. You name it. And that's just not in them. That zeal is not in them to grow and develop in these areas. Um, and what do if that zeal's not there? Pray for it. That is a righteous prayer. Yah, give me the zeal to want to grow and develop in these areas and to detest this wicked ass flesh and these carnal desires that I have to detest it and to crave your word and your righteousness. Yo, that is a faithful and just prayer. And do a sustained campaign on praying that and walking in that. Then it'd be on and popping. Um, uh, seeing this other verse. So we're going to read Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doeth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us. Okay? Sustained campaign type stuff. It says, submit yourselves therefore to Yah, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. So again, resistance. You got to stand firm. Okay? That's James chapter 4, verse 7. Let me see what else we got here. Let's see, but ye of the Lord you find make not vision for the flesh. Let's see. But yeah, I'm just going through some of these verses, man, and let it's a fight. You see these soldiers right above me. Um, you if you've been on the internet at times, like you see Sean Ryan, some of these shows, he interviews soldiers, special operations soldiers, and personnel. And those are the real soldiers of today, where they actually engage in combat, and they have a unique perspective on, you know, on war. And war is so extreme, they can really say some things. But the thing is, what you got to keep in mind, like if I went to go do what these men are doing tomorrow. So Mike, you're gonna go out to wherever the hell they at. You're gonna get your gear. You're gonna head out with this unit, y'all. I would, man. who know? I don't know if I'd be able to make it because it's so extreme. Just going from what I'm doing now to that. Um, mentally, it'd be very difficult. Physically, it'd be difficult, like in a lot of ways. But these men have been conditioned over the period of years of conditioning and training and slowly brought up to speed where, man, this stuff is just normal to them. You know what I'm saying? It's not a big deal. You listen to a lot of them, they enjoy it. They enjoy doing it. Another good example, Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan. You know that, yeah, they're playing basketball, but the extreme they went to in basketball and the success they had is interesting to look at their mindset. Kobe talked about he made a commitment to himself that he was gonna become great in basketball, and then he didn't just say that. Then he went and began planning it out. And he said, what I'm going to do, I'm going to work out like this each day. And he actually plotted it out. By this point, I'll be this good. And then, but it turns out, so he was like, yeah, I'm going to train this many times a day. And the opposition, they only train this much a day. Once a day. He said, I'm going to train 3 times. And this is probably not exactly what he said, but this is the nature of what he was doing. So he was like, I'm going to train this many times. He planned it all out, and then he plotted out by this point, this many years from now, I'll be at this level. Well, it turned out it was like half that amount of time he was way better. So he continued doing that, and he enjoyed doing that. So by the time he gets to the NBA, and he's in the NBA for a couple of years, he's better than most of the people in the NBA. Why is he better, man? He could get up and down the court. He has the same energy level at near the end of the game that he did at the beginning because he's been conditioning himself. Now, if he had tried to do that right from the beginning, it wouldn't have been the case. But he made a commitment to get better, and he planned it out. Y'all, this is what you need to do when it comes to the word and your spiritual growth and development. A lot of y'all, man, I watch people, they be effing up, they get rebuked, they get the fire rebuked out of them because they just constantly screwing up. And then they'll, y'all, it's sad. Like I done seen this so often. They'll do whatever they need to do to get the attention off them because they're not convicted. They ain't really convicted. They just trying to go along to get along. So they'll make some surface level changes to make it look the part. Okay, now all the attention comes off them 4 months later. Same shit. No change. And it's like I see so many people that have just been stagnant. And what they'll do is just do things to stay out of the light of getting rebuked or corrected, but they're not doing anything to grow and develop themselves. They're not waging sustained campaigns. I watch people, they'll fast. I watch people, they'll get deliverance only to go right back to the same thing because there's nothing planned out, no accountability, no nothing, no humility, no nothing. So they're just going through the motions, but they're not waging a sustained campaign. They're not, let's read it again. They're not, we're going to read this definition of sustained campaign. Sustained campaign is a long-term, continuous, and coordinated series of activities. Not just one thing, not just, I got deliverance, okay. It's a series of activities. I'm getting deliverance. I'm getting counseling from my brothers. I'm praying. I'm fasting. I've written out a study plan to study this word. A biblical meditation plan to meditate on this word day and night. I've written this thing out. You see what I'm saying? I'm petitioning and supplicating to the Father for his help and his assistance in this thing. Okay? So a sustained campaign is a long-term, continuous, coordinated series of activities designed to achieve a specific, significant goal by maintaining consistent pressure and momentum over time rather than relying on one-off events. Well, I'm gonna just wait for the heat to get off me. All this heat and attention for me screwing up. I'm gonna wait for that heat to get off me. Then I'm gonna go right back to being pathetic, to being spiritually stagnant. Well, hey, the word talks about that. He who is often rebuked. Let me see if I can find that verse. He who is off rebuked. I don't know. Let's see if I can find it. Proverbs. Okay, let's see if this is it. Proverbs 29:1 says, he that being often reproved hardeneth his neck shall suddenly be destroyed, and that without remedy. Y'all, let's read that in a couple other versions. Let's hit the Amplify. He who hardens his neck and refuses instruction after being often reproved, corrected, criticized, will suddenly be broken beyond repair. Let's go to the easy read version. You may warn a proud person many times, but he will not listen to you. Trouble will suddenly happen to him, and he will not escape. Okay? The easy read version says some people refuse to bend when someone corrects them. Eventually, they will break, and there will be no one to repair the damage. Y'all, we talking book here. Put a 100 up in there if, this, a matter of fact, this type book in there if you know we talking book. Okay? You can put a 100 up in there if you know we coming straight down the middle. We ain't veering to the left. We ain't veering to the right. We ain't putting no vague ambiguity in there. We just keeping it 100, y'all. Let me know if that makes sense to you. But yeah, y'all, wanted to get that in there. All right. Hey, definitely been reading y'all's comments. Continue on. Continue sending emails. If you got questions, comments, concerns, or put them in the comments. Appreciate everybody tuning in. And with that said, I'm Michael Israel. You're watching Spiritual Combat, and shalom, shalom.